Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This is just a pre-Rosh Hashana message, just before, because this coming Shabbat is going to be really falling over Rosh Hashana, or Rosh Hashana immediately after. So basically, I just want to talk about Rosh Hashana. Just a very brief thought for you. Rosh Hashana is the Day of Judgment. Rosh Hashana is really the year end. And so there's really a lot that we should be thinking about in terms of reflecting over the last year, but that's such a huge demand, a huge thought process. How do I reflect over an entire year? How do I reflect over 365 days, 24 hours in a day? I mean, where do I even begin? There's so much that I'm proud of, so much that I'm really not so proud of, and so much that I know that I could have done more, but I mean, really, where do I even begin? And so I'm going to just offer 3 potential places I think that's a good place for us to start, just to think about as you enter Rosh Hashanah, to think about where you were in the last year and where you can move forward in the year ahead. So the Talmud, the rabbis of the Talmud on Tractate Shabbos, page 31a, give us 3 areas in which you should think about as you enter this time period. And there are 3 questions that really we're taught, that we're asked ultimately at the end of our lives, but that also apply at this time period. First question is, were you honest in business? Were you honest in business doesn't just refer to business itself. It refers to any really interpersonal relationship that we have. Really, it means that are we putting other people before material or any other kind of physical achievement or accumulation? Okay? In the book of Genesis, we have 2 stories. We have the flood, and then we have the Tower of Babel. In the flood, in chapter 6, the people were conspiring against each other. They were robbing and murdering each other, and so God destroyed them all. And yet in chapter 11, with the Tower of Babel, when people built a tower up into the heavens, even though they were working together, they were dispersed. They were not destroyed. Clearly, the punishment was not nearly as harsh, even when they were rebelling against God himself. I think the clear teaching here is that you cannot have a relationship with God. We can't have a relationship with God unless we have a relationship with God's children. And so what that means is that this is a good time to reflect on the last year, to say, was I working hard to develop a relationship with God's children and with my siblings, my brothers and sisters, the Jewish people? And that's really a first place that we should be thinking about, to really reflect and to say, did I put in my actions, my brothers and sisters, humans first, people who are created, B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God? Second question is, did you set aside time for Torah study? Now note, it doesn't say, did you study Torah? It says, did you set aside time for Torah study? God knows that things can happen. God knows that things can come in your way. Obviously, if we're praying to God, and this God is the creator of the heavens and the earth, He knows that things can come in your way and that plans can, mess up your previously made plans. But really the question here is, do you value wisdom? Do you value growth in your relationship with God? Obviously, someone can only have a deep relationship with God and deep, really, appreciation for their very existence in the world if they're constantly growing, constantly striving to be more than they were yesterday. And so that can mean anything from studying on their own, studying with a partner, studying the Torah, studying the Talmud, studying laws, anything. There's a huge gamut of it. Again, groups like Partners in Torah, Torah Anytime, or all these different websites online. There are so many good options online for learning, and this is really a perfect time, Rosh Hashanah, to think about, in the last year, did I put the emphasis on learning and growth, really personal growth, that I could have? And if not, what are some of the areas that I can do that? And again, if you are learning in Partners in Torah and you're finding it a lot, a group like that, why don't you potentially offer your services as a volunteer for a group like that, to offer to teach it to others? And the third question the rabbis of the Talmud tell us that ultimately we're asked at the end of our lives, that we should be thinking about now, is, did we enjoy the permissible pleasures in life? Obviously, the operative word there is permissible, but what that means is to say that God created us as physical beings in a physical world, living, cities and towns, having to physically eat and all these things for a reason. And what that means is that the more things that we enjoy that are permissible gives us a deeper appreciation for life, and obviously of the bestower of all life, God. And so what that means is that many people have a custom on Rosh Hashanah to eat a new fruit and to say Shechechianu on that fruit, because what that means ultimately is that we are recognizing that we're not physical beings exclusively or spiritual beings exclusively. A pure physical being is an animal, and a pure spiritual being would be an angel. Well, obviously we're neither. Our goal in life as Jews is to sanctify the material world. And how do we do that? We do that by taking the material world and recognizing its ultimate source as God. And so not only by recognizing that source as God does our role as Jews, but it makes you a happier person. Why? Because you realize that everything you have is a gift. And when you realize that everything you have is a gift, you realize that everything you have ultimately was not deserved. It's like if a stranger on the street gave you $1, you appreciate that because you didn't expect that. But if you get your annual or your bi-weekly, pay from your boss, and it's exactly what you get, even though it's $1,000 or $2,000, you don't appreciate that because you deserve that. That's yours. It's coming to you. So in other words, it's not what's coming to you that you appreciate and that helps you grow. It's things that you really feel is a true gift and something that you didn't really deserve. And so the lesson from that one, enjoying permissible pleasures, are enjoying things and recognizing that everything is a gift from God. And when you do that, you're that much happier. So again, the 3 questions that you should be asking, we all should be asking upon Rosh Hashana to help us reflect on the last year. The first one is, were you honest in business? Did you put the interests of other people, especially your brothers and sisters, the Jewish people, first before yourselves, and indeed put their interest ahead of your physical, material interests? Second question, did you set aside time for Torah study? Was gaining wisdom a priority for you? Did you really strive to grow in your knowledge and appreciation in your relationship with God and your growth as a Jew? And of course, the third question, did you enjoy permissible pleasures? In other words, did you learn to appreciate all the incredible manifold gifts which you have? And again, I think if you can spend some time thinking about those 3 questions over the last year, and then again thinking about how you can potentially work hard to grow in the next year ahead, you can have a much more meaningful, much more appreciative, and much happier Rosh Hashanah and New Year. Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom, God bless.